In this Multiversus video, we're going to go over the best perks to use with Iron Giant in Multiversus. So here we are in the main menu. From here, we're going to select Collection, and then we're going to select the Iron Giant from the Fighters. You can see that from this menu, you can insert 3 lower level perks and 1 signature perk with Iron Giant. I've been using Iron Giant quite a bit now, and I'm working towards tier 13 or level 13. From here, I'm going to select the Train Perks menu. There are 3 options in the Train Perks menu. We have Offense, Defense, and Utility. Then you can categorize all of the perks into an All section. Going back to the Offense section, you can see that I have Iron Giant's known perks, unlocked perks from other characters, and all other perks. Iron Giant's known perks are the perks you're most likely going to have unlocked as a lower level Iron Giant getting started with Iron Giant. And then you have unknown perks. These are the perks that you have unlocked while using other characters in Multiverses. And then you have the remaining perks, which are all other perks. This is repeated for all other sections. Now if we go back to the offense section, let's select the best offense perk to use with Iron Giant. Now Iron Giant is a tank character, and he has a special down move which can create a large knockback upwards, and that is why Up and a Sleigh is the best perk to use with Iron Giant in the offense section. Let me quickly go into the moveset here to show you what this move is. Moving down into the special side of the moveset, you can see Cannonball and Crater Ball. Now when you're not in rage mode, the Cannonball will attack your enemies upwards and then create a large downward spike, which will send your enemies upwards. Then you have Crater Ball. Rather than just the attack going upwards, it's just one attack going down, slamming into the ground, because you're already in the air, so you cannot attack going upwards. The Crater Ball will also send your enemies flying upwards. You also have a fly, so you're able to fly with the Iron Giant using his rocket boots. So if you want to get above an enemy, you can use your rocket boots and propel yourself in the correct position in order to use that Crater Ball. You're also able to use the flying ability to get yourself out of situations, for example falling off the edge of the map or being in a critical position where your enemy is able to knock you out easily. The 2 runner-up perks you can use with the Iron Giant is Deadshot, because you use a lot of projectiles with your Iron Giant, and then you also have the That's Flammable Dock, because of a signature perk that you can use with your Iron Giant build. Don't forget to stay to the end of the video so you can see how you can stack these perks together for a master build of your Iron Giant. Moving on to the defense section, you can see I've already trained some perks. Let's quickly go over how you train a perk with this section here. So you can see that you can select a Slippery Customer. If I train this perk, it will cost me 100 gold. I currently have 12,128 gold available, so I'm able to train this perk if I wanted to. I've already begun to train some perks, and these are available here. So do keep that in mind if you're a lower level Iron Giant and you're following along. Now in this section here, I've already trained and I'm already using some perks, and definitely 100% the best perk to use with your Iron Giant is going to be Boundless Energy. Your team receives 10% faster dodge and vulnerability recharge, 20% faster recharge if your ally also selects this perk. The reason why this is the best perk to use with the Iron Giant is because he's so big on that platform, you are going to need to dodge, and your invulnerability is how long you can dodge for. So having that faster recharge of that ability is going to be great if you're using dodge quite often. Then in the runners up of this section would be the School Me Once. Your team receives projectile block buff for 2 seconds after being knocked back by a projectile. Now being such a large character on the platform, School Me Once is definitely going to come in handy. And the other 2 you can mix and match between is going to be the back-to-back. Because you're so large with the Iron Giant, you're most likely going to be next to an ally, and that 6% reduction in damage is definitely going to come in handy. Do keep in mind that your teammates are less likely to select this perk, as other players do not have this perk unlocked with their lower level characters. Then into another one that I like to select with other tank builds, the Kryptonian Skin. This is great because it's a passive ability and you don't need to do anything in order for this to be engaged. You are basically having 4% reduction incoming damage. This is all types of incoming damage, and you don't have to press any buttons for it to be taking effect. And then you have that 6% if your ally also selects this perk. Now let's move over into the utility section, which is going to be the most important section for your Iron Giant build. And 100% the best perk to use with Iron Giant in this section is going to be the Retaliation Ready. Your team grants 1 grey health for 3 seconds after knocking back enemies with projectiles. Now you use a lot of projectiles with your Iron Giant, and you also have a rage mode where you have even more projectiles. If you and your teammate are knocking back enemies with those projectiles, you have a scenario where you can have grey health. Grey health stops your usual damage numbers from going up, and it is replaced with a grey health. When your grey health is depleted, you will go back to your regular damage numbers. And as you know, if you have high damage numbers, you are getting knocked back further. So imagine this is more of a defense for your tank build. And not only that, when you're using the Iron Giant, there are other scenarios where you have this grey health. So with Retaliation ready, you are more likely to have more types of grey health in the matchup, which is going to be brilliant with the signature perk that we select. The runners up in this section are going to be CoffeeZilla, so you can use your abilities more often, 10% reduced ability cooldown duration, 15% if your ally also selects this perk, which is great because allies are most likely going to have CoffeeZilla available when you're playing public games. And then there is the Purest of Motivations, which is your usual lower level Iron Giant perk that you can have available to you at a lower level, and then one that is absolutely used for the gravity manipulation, so you can pull yourself downwards when you're not using your crater ball or you're not using your cannonball. You can pull yourself downwards so you can avoid being attacked in the air and being knocked out in the upper region of the arena. Now that we've covered the utility, defense and offense lower level perks, let's move over into the signature perk as to the best perk to use with the Iron Giant. Now there are 3 perks available. You have the wrong side of bed. Iron Giant spawns with some rage meter filled up already. Now your rage is what you can use to enter a rage mode where you have that different moveset and you're able to use more projectiles. You also have the afterburners. When Iron Giant's rocking boots ignite the ground, it leaves behind firewalls, and as you know, those firewalls can stagger the enemy even more as you are igniting the enemy for extra debuff. Then you have the static discharge, which is what I think is the best perk to use with the Iron Giant in the signature perk. Iron Giant grants a stack of thorns for each unique source of grey health. Now, as I've just mentioned, you are going to have more scenarios where you have grey health available when you're using the perks that we've just selected. Now, what a stack of thorns does is it hurts enemies that are attacking you. So as well as you having grey health, your enemies are also receiving damage. This will help the Iron Giant build up the rage meter, which builds when you deal damage to enemies or damage is dealt to your ally. Now with the up and a slay and the retaliation ready and your defense, that is going to be the best perk to use with your Iron Giants. Now that we've covered that, let's get into showing you how this is done in a match, and we'll show you how this works. We're going to go into a 2-on-2, and of course we're going to select the Iron Giants. Now we could also use the Iron Giant announcer pack. So now we also have the Iron Giant announcer pack there. And we're using the classic Iron Giant skin. Now we have a Bugs Bunny on the team. The Bugs Bunny is going to use a lot of projectiles, especially that rocket. So we're using our static discharge, school me once, retaliation ready, and up and a sleigh. Let's jump in.
You're the kind of ally I like to have. Stretchy powers, good heart,
let's get him. Now keep in mind that when I'm flying, I'll also be able to use the crater ball. So if I've decided to go up like this, with that great health, because Bugs was using a projectile, I can then come down and cause some absolute mayhem. And it's just like... Hey, what are you doing to my teammate, man? Also, is Superman static with that move, with that combo that he does? I'll be able to strike him from above. So I'm going to go into rage mode now, so we've got that grey health for a minute. Crater ball. Some rockets at them. They're also getting thorn. Absolute mayhem. Oh, we can aim that. I was about to... Whoa, what the... Was he eating both of us? That was well timed. Oh, he charmed him, beautiful. Now, if you notice, I can interrupt that attack as well. I don't have to stay with it. Hey, Superman. Where you going, man? You going up? Going up. He's static. If he stayed there a bit longer, I would have had him there. See if I can time him. There he goes. And that's what I'm talking about with that up in a sleigh right there. He's now just gone straight into the center of the map because he just respawned. If you time this accordingly, you will get some mad damage. Like for now. Oops, I nearly got him again. Oh, get off me, man. Now we can go rage mode, so we can have more grey health. Hit him with the cannons, more mayhem. There goes Superman. He's back for more.
I won't let that happen again.
He maybe should have. Oh, he's gone for a grab.
I'll take a whack at it.
Get back down to the map right there. Up in a sleigh. Absolutely beautiful. You can see I have some high damage numbers because we've been using that great health. So even though we're at high damage numbers, we can use that great health. Less of a knockback. Oh yes. Beauty.
Continue.
As a good team effort. Let's see if they continue. Looks like they want to go again. So let's show you how this is done again using the Iron Giant. Now the Iron Giant is an expert level character, but now that you've got the right perks, you'll be able to cause some damage. Iron Giant saying we can choose, so of course we're going to select the Iron Giant. Let's go. So what happens in the rematch is normally people go for their mains because they don't want to lose the second match, but we're using the right perks with our Iron Giant now, so you'll be able to see how it's done. Let's cause some more mayhem. That was ridiculous. Oh, so quite shocking they've gone for the same characters again, which is really shocking. Didn't think that would happen. We're going to stick with the same perks again. So we should be able to cause a lot of damage, especially with Bugs Bunny using those projectiles as well on top. Let's get it.
You don't have to do this. But if you insist.
Right, so instead I'm going to throw something. Just wait for Superman because he likes to be predictable with that. There he goes.
I'll take a whack at it.
So just scout him well. Ooh, who are you? What? Why are you? What? Huh? Read them backwards, bro. It's weird. Like sometimes that does happen in the game where you sort of just drift.
I'll just leave this here.
Alright, so we've got our grey health. Come into some. No, I can't go rage mode yet. Took off all my armor there for a second. Should have went for that Superman then. Eat that. I'm trying to save this Bugs Bunny because he looks like he needs it. Up in a sleigh. So I have to be careful that actually just propel you in a direction. Rage mode is activated. There's the projectiles as well on top of it.
Taking it to the sky.
Are you? He's trying to get me out. Keep coming back. He wants his vengeance.
I've got this.
Have you? Beauty. Let's charge that through a little bit, see if we can get it further. There you go. Just move that. Because it didn't knock them back, that's the reason why I didn't have retaliation ready at that point. Protect friends! Grey health! It's mad. Oh my days. Oh man. Absolute beast mode with Iron Giant when you're using these perks. Now he's going to auto form. Now I'm going to press no on that. Right, so there we have it, guys. Those are the best perks to use with the Iron Giant in Multiversus. That's how you can stay in play for a lot longer as well. So it does give you more of a chance to use the Iron Giant. What I've noticed is if you use the Iron Giant and you are able to stay on the arena with him, you can learn a lot more with him. So with that in mind, when you're using these perks, it will really, really help you out. With that said, guys, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and you can also check out that content that you see on screen now. There's more Multiversus content for you. You'll see a playlist, and there's some more content that you'll be interested in on the Anthony Allen YouTube channel. With that said, I'll see you in the next one. Click on one of those thumbnails, and remember, you are awesome. Thank you for watching.